Today, we're going to explore some of the absolute most baffling, completely unsolved mysteries ever documented. We are going to start with some pretty strange anomalies of human psychology. Then we'll move into physical, real-world mysteries that have literally stumped authorities for decades. And finally, we're going to plunge straight into the uncharted, eerie depths of the internet. Let's look at the stories that really challenge our understanding of reality. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our case file index of exactly 6 distinct rabbit holes we will explore today. The Mandela effect, the D.B. Cooper hijacking, the Dyatlov Pass incident, the Max Headroom incident, the mystery of Temple OS, and finally, Lake City quiet pills.
Section 1. The Mandela effect. False memories at scale.
So this first phenomenon was actually named after Fiona Broom's 2009 realization that she, along with massive groups of other people, incorrectly remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, even though his actual death was in 2013. And this brilliant comparison right here really illustrates the phenomenon in action. Just think of arguably the most famous line in cinema history. Millions of us distinctly remember Darth Vader saying, "Luke, I am your father," right? Well, actually scratch that. The actual line from the film is, "No, I am your father." The widely shared memory is completely false, yet the idea spreads like wildfire and just persists. And Star Wars definitely isn't an isolated incident. I mean, people swear Pikachu had a black tip on his tail. He doesn't. Countless others believe the Monopoly mascot wore a monocle. He never had one. Because these collective memories are held with absolute 100% confidence, internet theories basically blame alternate timelines, parallel universes, or literal glitches in reality. It really makes you wonder, how much we can actually trust our own memories when everyone around us is misremembering the exact same details. Section 2. The D.B. Cooper hijacking. The perfect crime? Now we're transitioning from psychological mysteries to a very real physical one that started on November 24th, 1971, aboard Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. Look at how rapidly this progressed. A quiet man named Dan Cooper boards a flight in Portland. Shortly after takeoff, he just casually hands a note to a flight attendant, claiming he has a bomb, and opens his briefcase to reveal wires and red cylinders. The plane lands in Seattle for an exchange, takes off again, and he orders the crew to fly low toward Mexico. Then, somewhere mid-flight over the stormy Pacific Northwest, he just disappears into the night. And get this, he didn't just jump out of nowhere. He calmly demanded a staggering ransom of $200,000 in cash, along with 4 parachutes. To put that into perspective, that is a massive amount of money to vanish with. Investigators obviously concluded he jumped, but despite one of the largest FBI investigations in history, his true identity remains a complete ghost. A young boy did find a few decaying bills by a riverbank in 1980, but the man and the rest of the massive cash pile vanished into thin air. No way a case like this could happen today. Section 3. The Dyatlov Pass incident. Terror in the Urals. Let's move chronologically backwards to February 1959. Igor Dyatlov and his 9 highly experienced hikers vanished in the remote, freezing Soviet Ural Mountains. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the bizarre, disjointed clues left behind. Rescuers eventually found their tent, but it was cut open from the inside, as if they had to escape in an absolute panic. The hikers were found scattered, some barefoot in extreme cold. Months later, the remaining hikers were found with severe injuries, fractured ribs, skull damage. One was even missing her town. And bizarrely, there were traces of radiation on their clothing. Was it secret military tests? A rare avalanche? The whole shebang remains deeply unsettling, and no explanation has fully satisfied everyone.
Section 4. The Max Headroom incident. Hijacking the airwaves.
Let's pivot to the digital age. On the night of November 22nd, 1987, in Chicago, a completely new type of unsolved anomaly occurred. You see, a broadcast hijacking, taking over a professional television signal without authorization, requires highly specialized equipment and serious technical knowledge to overpower a professional signal. That's what makes this so disturbing. During a live sports segment, the broadcast abruptly cut to an unidentified person in a creepy Max Headroom mask acting completely erratically. And hours later, it happened again during a PBS Doctor Who broadcast. The public was deeply disturbed by the massive technical capability this required, and the culprits were never identified. Section 5. The Mystery of Temple OS, a digital monument. Moving into the early 2000s, this is the story of Terry Davis, a brilliant programmer who spent over a decade building an entire operating system totally by himself. Visually, Tumble OS appeared incredibly strange and outdated. It used bright colors and blocky 1980s graphics. But you really have to point out the stark contrast between that archaic visual appearance and the extraordinary technical achievement hidden beneath it. Davis single-handedly wrote almost everything himself from scratch. The programming language, the compiler, the kernel. That is an almost unfathomable solo engineering feat. But there is a gentle tragedy behind this profound technical achievement. Davis claimed the system was a digital temple containing religious references meant to communicate with the divine, built directly from instructions he received from God. As he uploaded these long videos explaining his programming and his religious views, viewers became really divided. Sadly, Davis had been diagnosed with schizophrenia. It's an illness that deeply affected his life and work, leaving people debating if he was a misunderstood genius or a deeply tragic figure before his passing in 2018 at the age of 48. He left behind a digital monument that is remembered as both technically awe-inspiring and hauntingly sad. Finally, Section 6, Lake City Quiet Pills, Assassins or Hoax? Let's move to and see how this builds. Because our deepest rabbit hole started in 2009 with a seemingly innocent Reddit post by user named 26, announcing the death of another user, Religion of Peace. After the announcement, users were directed to an anonymous image hosting website called Lake City Quiet Pills. It looked totally normal on the surface, but when internet sleuths started digging into the site's HTML source code, they found hidden messages that actually connected the site to real-world assassinations. Hidden inside that HTML were chilling clues: requests for experienced professionals, requirements for French or Arabic fluency, and availability for extended travel. On top of that, Lake City happens to be a major U.S. ammunition facility, and Quiet Pills was interpreted as slang for bullets. So the crucial point here is that these clues led to a really disturbing theory, linking the site to the 2010 assassination of Hamas official Mahmoud al-Mabouh in Dubai. Now, many people accept it was likely just an incredibly elaborate role-playing hoax by brilliant storytellers, but the sheer lack of hard proof just keeps the mystery alive. Which brings us to the end of our explainer. From collective false memories to vanishing hijackers to hidden codes on the internet, what other bizarre mysteries are working just beneath the surface of our everyday lives? We are constantly surrounded by the unknown. Thank you so much for diving down these rabbit holes with me today. Keep your eyes open, question what you see, and never stop searching for the truth.